Hi guys, welcome to Wahala Nade, the home of African movie recaps. Let's get straight into the Wahala.
This movie is called Fiancée for a Day. Meet Imam on the phone with her mother talking about money matters. Her mother is requesting for 1 million naira, but Imam requests a breakdown of how the money is to be spent. Later, the conversation turns to why Imam has not brought home a man as her husband. As they continue talking, Imam gets tired of the continuous nagging of her mother, enters her bed and sleep. Her mother is left on the phone talking to herself. In the morning, Toby is discussing matters with his father at his office. Similar to Imam, Toby is also interrogated about bringing a wife home before his father leaves the office. Imam, while having a meal, receives a call from her mother, but she ignores the call. On reaching work, her assistant also informs her that her mother has been continuously calling her office before getting down to business of the day. When Susan leaves, Imam picks her mother's call only for her to inform Imam that she is on her way to Lagos. We then see Toby being given a contract by his colleague that would set him and his company up for life. Unfortunately, he is yet to know he is also going to compete with Imam for that contract. Imam's mother finally arrives and has come with the agenda of meeting Imam's boyfriend and ensuring that she is going to get married. In the evening, Imam's mother is nagging Imam about her not cooking in her house, of which she cautions her that she may lose her husband if she doesn't cook when she's married. She even looks in the fridge and doesn't find anything. She goes and brings out ingredients she had carried from the village and tells Imam to cook pounded yam and bitter leaf soup for her. Imam complains it will take more than 2 hours for her to cook the said meal, of which it was already late at night. Eventually she ends up cooking her mother's meal. When Imam is about to finish cooking, her mother comes in and tells her that she won't be able to eat because it's late. Even though annoyed, Imam puts on a smile and wishes her mother goodbye. In the morning, her mother is eventually eating the pounded yam and bitter leaf soup, but stops Imam to ask for money and show her names of men that are eligible for Imam to get married to. But Imam just listens to her and then leaves for work. At the office, Imam is still ignoring her mother's calls and focuses on her work, same as Toby. After work, Imam and Toby are actually eating in the same restaurant, when Toby spots Imam and walks towards her, sits across her, even though she was still working. Apparently they actually know each other. Toby pours her a drink and she gobbles it up to get rid of him, but Toby doesn't give up on having a conversation with her. A very mad Imam is later laughing with Toby. The conversation even reaches to the point of Toby showing Imam a ring his mother had bought for him to engage his future wife. Imam actually goes on and tries on the ring. And as the night continues, Imam complains as well about the pressure her mother has been giving her. They both realize that each of them have their own problems as they take their final shots. And with alcohol rush, Imam and Toby end up being intimate at Toby's house. In the morning, Toby's parents visit Toby, only to find Imam in his house, and they assume she is the fiancée. When Toby and Imam go to the bedroom, they start panicking, wondering why Toby's parents think she is Toby's fiancée. But then Toby realizes and shows Imam that she's still wearing the ring from the previous night. When Imam was about to leave, Toby asks for her help. She tried to reject the offer, but Toby reminded her of the night they just had. When Imam was about to answer him, Imam's mother calls and Toby picks the call only to introduce himself as Imam's fiancé, which complicates the matter. It has been decided that they will be each other's fiancé for the day, but Imam had been warned to avoid Toby's father. Toby, Imam and Toby's parents share a meal together as they try to get to know each other. Even though Toby's father keeps on making negative remarks about Toby and making him angry, but Imam steps up and stands up for Toby. Toby's father then directs his negative comments towards Imam, calling her old. But Imam doesn't back down when it comes to Toby's reputation, even when Toby tries to stop Imam. Her action surprises everyone, leaving Toby speechless. But later, Imam apologizes to Toby's parents. Toby's mom assures her that she did nothing wrong by standing up for her fiancé. They were successfully able to pull off the charade on Toby's parents. Moments later, Toby and Imam then visit Imam's mom, who admires the ring Toby gave Imam. Her mother is even more excited when she hears the cost of the ring is $20,000 and commenting that Toby must be a millionaire. When Toby leaves, Imam tries to return the ring. But Toby tells her it would be suspicious if she returns it now, so she should hold on to it a little longer. When Imam's mom is coming downstairs, Toby spots her and kisses Imam to keep up the ruse. Imam's mom is completely fooled and wants to return to the village to spread the news of Imam's fake engagement. Weirdly, Imam is happy and even books her mother's flight instantly so she can be out of her hair. At night, Imam and Toby discuss the events of the day. Toby even decides to send Imam's mom some small money, which was actually $2 million. Imam isn't happy when she hears about it. But Toby keeps her mind at ease and even ends up inviting her for breakfast. Imam becomes happier and even Susan notices Toby's wrong on her aunt, but Imam dismisses her. As the day continues, Imam starts ignoring Toby's call, unsure about the charade, but Toby isn't giving up on Imam, so he shows up at her home at night with food. Clearly, he tells Imam that even though he knows that he hurt her in the past, he still loves her. Imam is still too bitter to accept Toby's love, so she gives him back his ring and asks him to leave, of which Toby leaves without a word. At the end, Susan notices a change in Imam and advises her to talk to Toby mostly about the contract pitch coming up. Imam takes her advice and goes to Toby's place but gets scared to enter, so she turns and starts to leave. Toby has already spotted her and comes out to meet her. Imam apologizes for being harsh to him, and she has also brought him food as a peace offering. Toby praises her food, but he knows Imam more and that a gift of food really means she has a request. She wants his approval to use some of the strategies they created together years back, and he gives her his consent. When Toby tells his colleague about allowing Imam to use the strategies, he is against it. But Toby stands by his word to Imam as he is the boss of the company. Imam is still being bothered by her mother about money and even insists that Imam should ask Toby for more money, but Imam can't. Imam and Toby's companies have been selected as the finalists for the contract, and Toby's father decides to pay Imam a visit. He demands Imam to name her price in order for her to stay away from Toby. But Imam does not entertain his demand and leaves his car. When she arrives home and finds Toby talking to her mother, who has invited Toby over for dinner but also to try and get some money from him, Imam understands what's going on and is annoyed. She then takes her mother aside and confronts her about her money, asking bad habits. She tells her that Imam doesn't mind giving her money and her spending it anyhow, but going as far as asking Toby is drawing a line. Imam then goes back to Toby and kisses him surprisingly. The events of the day have made her think about him and what could be between them. They start talking on the phone and hanging out, playing games as they get close to each other. Toby even assists Imam in talking to her mother about the stress she has been giving her on helping her extended family with money. He proposes giving them jobs, but no more assisting them with money. Imam and Toby are finally a couple, and Toby has invited Imam to move in with him. But things change for the worst when Toby's company wins the contract. Imam finds out and gets angry that Toby's pitch used the helium strategies that she wanted to use. When Toby tries to call her, she gets angry and hangs up on him. So Toby goes looking for her, but she does not open the door for him. Finally, Toby finds her, but then finds out that his colleague had changed his strategy behind his back and used the strategies that Imam wanted to use. He also found out his father tried to pay Imam to leave him. So Toby, though confused, still tries to talk to her, but she drives off. Toby continues. He confronts his colleague after rereading his pitch and seeing the changes that his colleague had done. This has caused a drift between the two, and Toby asks him to leave. Wanting to fix the mistakes that have happened, he begins by having a discussion with his parents. Toby has decided that he will no longer work as the CEO of his father's company, but he will still maintain his position as a board member and his shares of the company. He also confronts his father about paying Imam to leave Toby. He finally stands up to his father, saying what has always been in his mind about the insulting comments towards Toby, and then walks out. Later in the day, Imam receives a letter from Toby making her the CEO of the company, which has actually won the contract they have both been racing for. While Susan is excited, Imam is dumbfounded, so she decides to visit Toby. They end up reconciling and Toby actually proposed to Imam genuinely and Imam accepts. The moral of the movie is never hold on to the past, for they can hold your future, and stand by the one you love through everything.